Welcome back, my beautiful souls, to the Rambling Psychic Podcast. So, we're going to continue on going around the zodiac wheel, and we have landed on the Hermit. The Hermit, Virgo's major arcana. We're also in the year of the Hermit. You hear me talking about this so much, I'm sure some of you are just tired of it. But it's important that we understand, what this year and what the Hermit means in general. So, the Hermit, a number 9, is a major arcana card that signals a critical shift from like outward experience to deep inner reflection. And what we're going to do is we're going to break down the Hermit, including its spiritual significance in the upright and reversed meanings. So let's start with the imagery that you usually will see. This day and age, people making their own cards, it can look different, but this is traditionally what you would see. So the Hermit is depicted as an old man, often with a long gray beard. I always want to say beard, standing alone on a snowy mountaintop. The figure, the aged man, symbolizes wisdom, maturity, and experience gained through a long life of seeking and reflection. The lantern. So this is the Hermit's most critical symbol. It is held up high and usually contains a six-pointed star like the Seal of Solomon or the Star of David. This represents the light of inner wisdom and divine truth that illuminates the path for both himself and eventually for others. The light is focused inward, showing that the answers must be found within. The staff. So he leans on a sturdy staff, which symbolizes support, authority, and inner strength gained from self-reliance. The mountain peak. The high, desolated location signifies the spiritual journey and the effort required to reach a higher state of consciousness and clarity, far from the noise of the mundane world. So, the spiritual meaning and essence. The Hermit's core spiritual message is a calling to solitude, introspection, and listening to your inner voice. It is the quest for inner truth. This card represents a necessity or a withdrawal from the world to really look inward. It's time for soul searching and personal inventory. When you seek answers, not from books or teachers, but from your own deeper self or inner wise one. It also represents potential spiritual awakening. The Hermit is in a phase of spiritual development where one strips away external distractions and ego to connect with their true, authentic self. It's about achieving spiritual enlightenment through deep meditation and or self-discovery. The Hermit, the teacher, the guide. I say this a lot. Although alone, the Hermit is not just seeking, he is embodying wisdom. Having gained clarity, he will eventually descend the mountain to share his light and guidance with those still searching in the darkness. So, the Hermit in the upright. When drawn upright, the Hermit is an invitation and affirmation of your need for a period of stillness. So some of the keywords: solitude, introspection, soul searching, inner guidance, wisdom, self-improvement, guidance from an elder or a mentor. The interpretation: you're being called to take a step back and to examine your life's path, relationships, and goals. This is a deliberate and healthy retreat from the world to gain clarity. This is where you trust your own intuition and stop seeking validation or advice from outside sources. You can talk about taking a retreat, beginning a journaling or meditation practice, or simply unplug to focus on your inner world. The time for action will come, but this is the time for reflection and preparation. Remember, we will be entering into a year one next year, and the Hermit is just getting us ready. So let's talk about the spiritual focus. This is about embracing the quiet. You're on a journey of profound self-discovery and spiritual growth. The answers you seek are within. Your task is to quiet the external noise long enough to hear them. This period builds a foundation of personal integrity and self-reliance. So let's talk about the Hermit in reverse. When in reverse, the energy of the Hermit is being resistant or taken to an unhealthy extreme. Some of the keywords: isolation, loneliness, withdrawal, reclusiveness, fear of introspection, stubbornness. So the interpretation: the reverse hermit can mean one of two things. Number one, you're isolating yourself for the wrong reasons, possibly out of fear, loneliness, or hurt, rather than the purposeful reflection. This isolation is becoming detrimental to you. You're refusing to take the time necessary to be alone, perhaps constantly distracting yourself with activities to avoid facing a difficult inner truth or unresolved emotions. But the spiritual focus: it's a warning to balance your need for alone time with your need for connection. If you've been in isolation, it's time to re-emerge and to share the wisdom that you've gained. If you've been avoiding introspection, it's a push to finally sit with your feelings, even the uncomfortable ones, and do the necessary shadow work to move forward. You may need to seek spiritual guidance or counsel rather than trying to figure everything out on your own. So, these are just some of the meanings of the Hermit. Of course, I always want you to trust your intuition, as I do in a reading, because they can take on, like in my readings, they can take on even more meanings. But these are the core messages of the Hermit, and one that we want to know for this year. So, thank you. I will see you in our next major arcana. Bye-bye.